Wow, what a beautiful
Winter.
I can't wait to go down to the beach and make a snowman. Southern Hemisphere and summer holiday jokes aside, it's the end of the year, which means it's the end of the year holidays, which means it's capitalism. I mean, the holiday season. The end of year holidays look different to all folks from different strokes. So before I forget, hi, I'm Scarlett Song. You're not a licensed librarian, and today we're exploring 5-ish games for your tabletop to settle those cravings for holiday cheer, whatever that looks like to you. Note, none of these are sponsored, but so all of the opinions and stuff you see today here are mine. They all came out of my own wallet. And should you be interested, there are links probably in the description, because future me will be smarter than that.
Do you even love them, Ume? How could you do that to Cinder? I thought you were friends.
Not at first, Amy. I just wanted to use them to get the promotion I needed at Big Company Incorporated. But I think, over the course of this holiday season, and totally not a movie, I've grown to realize that while I'm married to my job, I'm married to the feelings in my heart even more.
Hometown Holiday by Nick Torville is a competitive 2d6 TTRPG where all the players are characters in a tropey holiday film. This is definitely for the people who love watching those cheesy romance Christmas films, you know, like the ones with the knight and like anyone with really crappy boyfriends in the city. The game master acts as the director, and all of the other players play cheesy protagonists such as dating a jerk, married to my job, and my personal favorite and the most powerful character in the game, I think, the friend. Throughout your cheesy romance film, the director will give you points based on your successes and failures in an effort to woo your love interest or interests. Like, go for it, dude. Where your stats are sweaters, cocoa, and cheer. And you'll roll those 2d6 to decide whether or not you make the director's difficulty check. You also have secret objectives to fill, which is honestly super cool, and add a little bit of roleplay cinnamon spice on top. The game ends when one of the love interests and a player share their final dramatic kiss, and points are tallied and we see who's won. One of my favorite things about this system is the Hanukkah flavor to it. If you do not want to use d6s, you can use dreidels instead, and you still roll 2 to see what result you get. There's a higher percentage chance there of getting a success versus a failure, but I think it's honestly really cool. Also, if you're not sure how to plot it, there's an awesome table at the back where it generates your love interest. Great example, I rolled a 14 and got the love interest was everyone's old crush in high school, but I want to mix it up with number 56, which is they only have 24 hours to live. You can find Hometown Holiday at the itch.io link down below. I love puzzle games, even if I'm really bad at them sometimes. And the few escape rooms I've had the chance to go to, I've enjoyed thoroughly. I really enjoy chucking a new puzzle or prop to my players. For example, this spinny dial thing that I made for my Astral Sea game. And so this is where these suggestions come from. You might have heard of the Exit the Game series, which are kind of like these home escape rooms where you get that escape room experience, but in the comfort of like a game night. This, my friends, is one of their 3 advent calendar escape rooms, and it's a 24-day narrative where each day unlocks a new puzzle to help you escape the location listed on the box. Well, this one has to do with escaping an icy cavern, and for me, escaping the Australian summer heat. There are also a couple of others, like one involving finding Santa's Golden Book of Wishes, and another one called The Silent Storm, where you're trapped in Santa's workshop. So how does this apply to tabletop? Well, aside from just stealing the ideas, you could very easily run the entire escape room as a dungeon and potentially use mechanics like investigation if you're running Dungeons and Dragons to look for clues or get hints. On a similar note, I would like to shout out an Australian company. It's puzzle-themed bonbons. Bonbon Fusion is an Australian company up in Brisbane. They make puzzle bonbons with 3D printed artifacts. The set of 6 bonbons work together, and each bonbon can be broken to reveal a clue and a 3D artifact used to solve a mystery from a range of stories, including piracy, space, spies, Egypt, I think. Unfortunately, at the time of recording, they're kind of sold out, so it's probably wise to join up to their mailing list if you're interested in getting one of these for next year. Once again, how do we apply this to tabletop? Very easily. You can still treat this as a one-shot, but I'm going to be using all of these artifacts as props at my table and puzzles for my players to solve. The most important thing to understand, these puzzles are usually made by people who are much smarter than you. Definitely much smarter than me. If you already have a Christmas one-shot planned for your regular in-person campaign, consider adding one of these artifacts to your collection. If you've seen that one episode of Love, Death and Robots, you know the one with Santa delivering presents. This is 1000% where this suggestion comes from. There's something supernaturally eldritch about the end of year, whether it be because of the gods or myths or legends or anything that has to do about fighting against winter darkness. For those in colder areas, these stories bring comfort. And for those in hotter climates, the turning of the seasons during this time can generate storms or blistering heat. And there is no eldritch entity more terrifying than the sun. Kids on Bikes is a collaborative urban tabletop where the danger is in your own backyard. This system is honestly so good at recreating that feeling of meeting up with your friends when you're trying to escape your family during the holidays. It's got that Scooby-Doo Mystery Yang and Stranger Things vibes. And especially at this time of year, there are so many really cool kind of strange eldritch entities that you could make mythos out of. You could do something like cross Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with the Legends of the White Stag and have your party trying to defend it from a hunter. For a summer Australian Gothic, I could very easily do something with a surfing Santa clone army, or I could go with something like it's so hot outside you could cook an egg on the pavement, but it's actually like lizardmen. And this game uses all the polyhedrals, which means that if you got a set of dice for Christmas, boom, you got a system to use them in. One of my favorite things about this is that it has exploding dice mechanics, and what that means is when you roll the highest number on the die face, you can keep rolling that die as it explodes and increase your result by adding them all together. So play a game of corrupted Christmas cookies or the sounds that only the players can hear, and it'll feel just like Crimble for you too.
You squint, cane, like walking along, cane in hand, across a banner. Welcome home.
That was audio taken from the Ko-Fi Club's Pact of Undying group, where an old war veteran badger finally made their way home. He was accompanied by an exiled skern, a washed-up comedian rabbit, and a ghostly soldier bat. One Home is a GM-less system, or you can be if you want to play as a guide. It's an amazing, rules-light, super cozy feeling game that makes you feel like you're having like a mulled wine or maybe a hot cup of cocoa. It's really well suited to roleplay heavy groups that like having connections to the world, sparks of imagination, and connections to themselves as well. The main mechanic of this system is token spending. You can spend it to connect, to describe, to elevate, to converse with gods, and this token can be anything. You could be using berries or baubles for the holiday season. When I ran it for the Undying group, we used sunflower seeds because it's kind of a thing for me, maybe just
Just a little bit.
Now, why is this a good end of year game for people? Well, because home is different for everyone. And wandering home and finding yourselves can be just connecting with someone at the table. One of the biggest strengths and honestly weaknesses of this year is the reminding of togetherness, and the emphasis of it. Now this can be harsh for some people, and it's my personal belief that Wander Home allows you to explore that in a very safe and cozy environment. We get to be anything from like an anthropomorphic bat to like a lizard. This one is soft and feels like the sprinkles of chocolate powder on a nice cup of chai. Finally, on the other end of the spectrum, if Wander Home is cozy and comfortable, then Feng Shui 2 is hard, action-packed, and feels akin to fighting Robo-Santa from Futurama. Picture this. It's the end of year. You're gathered at a table over the containers of stir-fry from the Jade Princess on the corner. Discussing what to do now, you know the capitalist regime of Corpo has a hit on you. You found out that they're on the naughty list, and they're double tapping it twice before the big man up north gets wind of their shenanigans. Suddenly, a blaze of bullets pierces through the wall to your right. You duck, and your uncle catches one in midair with magic before throwing it back at the enemy, killing one of the cyborg enhanced elven magic techs from the future soldiers to take you out. That is all possible in a game of Feng Shui. In Feng Shui, you play as archetypical characters from 80s style Hong Kong action films. Using D6s, you roll for martial arts, mutant powers, magic, guns, against enemies from all across time, because of course a game like this has time travel as well. In short, if the movie Kung Fury was a TTRPG, it would in fact be Feng Shui. This holiday season, consider being a maverick cop trying to get a present for their family, or perhaps the ghost of an old cowboy cursed to forever outrun winter, or even a cyborg themed after a guardian lion trying to obtain an ancient artifact stolen to stop Christmas joy because Christmas is a conspiracy to ritually seal the Lord of the Nine Hills. When I played this game for the first time, we played First Edition. We were on a road trip at the tail end of summer, and I was the muscle of the group trying to steal the US Declaration of Independence in a bet against Nicolas Cage, set in 2004. I was also playing a transformed alligator who had magically willed themselves into a human form just so they had opposable thumbs to climb the ladder out of the sewers. I chewed tires when I was bored, used the broken leg of a resin horse to like smash across like several mooks' faces who were also working for the Illuminati, and it was awesome. If that sounds like a great time to you, or you believe that Die Hard is a Christmas film, then this is 1000% the system for you. But those are my recommendations. What are yours? How do you flavor your tabletop adventures for the end of year? You may not celebrate something like Christmas, so what do you celebrate and how do you celebrate it? During the research for this video, I learned about Yalda, which is celebrated in a lot of Middle Eastern countries, about the birth of the sun and staying up against the night in order to see the sunrise. Next time, I think I'll see if I can tell you one of the stories that came out of one of my favorite Christmas games. So consider subscribing if you'd like to hear more stories, or if you just enjoyed your little lurk, consider hitting the like button. Other than that, thank you so much for being here, and I love you very muchy. Bye-bye! Or nutmeg. Nutmeg. I'm fine.